We are live. This is the Academy Sports Show. Oh, baby, we got a show for you today. I couldn't wait till Monday at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time to come this week. If you was with us last week, great show last week. Got into some great discussions, and we had the table of discussion just so we can give it its full due. And today is the day. It's Christmas Day. Today is the GOAT talk. Get it off your chest. Say it with your chest. And if you want to be heard, you can do it in the chat. Or if you're feeling froggy, you can get a link so you can come up in the show and say it with your chest in real life. Right now, we are live on all the platforms. We're live on my Facebook. We're live on Joel's Facebook. We're live on YouTube. That's the mode we want you to follow. Go to youtube.com and search Academy Sports Show. Find our faces, search our faces, subscribe to our faces. That way you'll know every time a video comes up. Or you can trigger that bell, but we suggest you trigger the bell. So that way you know the show came up. I got the notification. Did you? Let's do this, man. The podcasters are always up. The podcast is always up. iTunes and SoundCloud, search Academy Sports Show. And we are your sports show's favorite sports show. You know why? Because we about to have these real life conversations. GOAT talk, unbiased, maybe. GOAT talk in the building. Tag your homies, tag your people, tag your family, put them in the comment section. Say, hey, we about to talk it right now. Hey, old man, you think Bill Russell is the greatest of all time? Shoot your shot. Hey, old man, you think that Wilt Chamberlain and all these old fellas was the best era ever? Shoot your shot. Hey, Laker fans, you think Kobe is the man? Come with it. LeBron guys, Jordan guys, this is the place. We got to pay some bills, but then we're going to get to it. I'm your host, Andre Douglas, sitting across from me. See, I practiced. It's your host, Joel Williams.
Hey man, this guy's fired up. Y'all heard the man. Tonight is tonight. All right. We talked about this last week. We promised you we was gonna give it to you because it got going last week. We got fired up about it. So we said we're gonna put everything aside and we're gonna get right into it right away. Just dive right in. We just go let them have it. We see everybody joining into the live feed. We appreciate it. It's already some bogus things being said. We got Kobe in here shouting out Heat in 6, but he has to stick with that, so we gonna let that be. And tonight there might be more bogus things said, but here's the beautiful thing about it. This is your opportunity. We're gonna give you a platform tonight because we're gonna have the argument of all arguments, and that is the GOAT argument. Plus, we are gonna talk football. Plus, we are going to talk NFL, of course, but we got to open up the right way because we promised you we would. But before we do that, just a couple of news and notes. Just want to throw some stuff out there just in case you missed it over the weekend. It is a Monday in the D, and as always, we like to just recap a couple things and point out a couple things from the weekend that you may have missed. As you can see, a lot of the comments are being made. So I'll just start there. I was going to wait till we got NFL, but I'll start there. The Cowboys are a dumpster fire, along with the NFL's NFC East. If you didn't see it yesterday, the Cleveland Browns dominated the Cowboys yesterday. Even though it got close to the end, that's just what us Brown fans are used to. We couldn't really call it over till it was over. But in the end, OBJ dominated. The running game dominated. The Browns ran for over 300 yards, but we'll talk about that a little later. The story of the day, though, has been how bad the Dallas Cowboys are. In other news, if you didn't hear, it just happened. We love it when breaking news takes place. Bill O'Brien is out in Houston. The Texans are 0-4. He is gone. One of the biggest topics of discussion on sports radio all day today has been him having a job, and how is it that he has a job, and how is it that y'all man here in Detroit still has a job. Believe it or not, my man in Houston got fired first. So Bill O'Brien is out.
How in the world? How in the world? In this world, how in this world does Bill O'Brien get fired before Matt Patricia. How does that happen? Bill O'Brien gets fired 4 games into the season before Matt Patricia.
Yep.
How in the world?
We gonna talk about that later. But just again, we just throwing that out there. There's some news.
No, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of it. Fire this man. All of them. Martha Firestone Ford, daughter, all of them. This is horrible.
We didn't
21-point lead. Leads. You get leads and you just lose them. 21 straight points, 31 straight points, 12 straight points. You just lose all the time. Keep losing then. I don't care. Whatever. I'm sorry.
Yep. So the show kind of went a little bit right there. We have a plan for this, believe it or not. Also, Doc Rivers to the 76ers. Hey, man, Doc's in Philly now. The leader of men is in Philadelphia. Now he can lead the young men and see what happens with that. Tyronn Lue is the leader in the clubhouse for the next Clippers head coach. We'll see what happens with that. And then last but not least, COVID in the NFL. COVID has impacted the NFL to a point where now the Tennessee Titans possibly could reopen their facilities as early as Wednesday. They have no positive tests as of today. Also, the New England Patriots have been hit with the COVID bug. Unfortunately, Cam is down and out for this game. So tonight it's New England and Kansas City. Nobody's giving them a chance. So that'll be interesting. But Cam was tested positive over the weekend, and that game got moved to Monday night because of that. So a lot has been going on. Plus, there have been some upsets in college football. We haven't hit college football a lot. Oklahoma Sooners are now out of the top 25 for the first time in a long time. Texas Longhorns lost to TCU over the weekend. You got a lot of teams going down early. Georgia gave it to Auburn over the weekend. A lot of teams that are normally favorites, a lot of teams that are normally powerhouses, definitely are not playing as well as they played in the past and are losing. And all of this is taking place still before the start of the Big Ten season and the Pac-12 season. So how that will impact things as we go will be very interesting, and we will talk about that and much, much more. But it's time. It is time. It is time. I don't know how much of a hot take this is that Doc Rivers is overrated. That is definitely a strong opinion of this show.
We agree.
We agree with you 100%.
Over the 7 to 8-ish years this show has been in syndication, the leader of men has never been one of our favorite coaches.
Nah. So right now we know going live right now is Kansas City, New England about to kick off tonight, NFL. We know you're gonna have that on your TV, but that's really not a game y'all really want to watch. I know you're gonna watch Mahomes go nuts. Mute that. Stay right here for this conversation that's about to start right now. Uh-oh. A little early. There we go.
Okay, you could have saw. All right, you got do you want to still do the rundown or?
Yep. So we already kind of hit it a little bit. We're about to go into Go Talk. We'll talk finals. We'll talk NFL later, but let's go ahead and get started.
All right. Let's go ahead and just get this out the way. This is what we're here for. This is the moment of truth. All the clips that you got set, ready to shoot your shot, this is it right now. We talking about LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Michael Jeffrey Jordan, Kobe Bean Bryant, rest his soul. That's still crazy to say. Who you got? Who is your GOAT? Who is the man? All these guys deserve to be on Mount Rushmore. All these guys are great in their own right. All these guys are generational talents. The 90s, the 2000s, and the 2010s. Who you got? Who your GOAT? Who's your guy? Whatever your criteria is, you have to state your criteria. If you believe LeBron James is your guy, stand up. If you believe Michael Jordan is your guy, stand up. If you believe Kobe Bean Bryant is your guy, stand up. Now is the time.
Akil just said LeBron is the GOAT.
First
Akil was
shot.
the first person to throw this out last week that he had an argument for why LeBron is the GOAT. He used the, all right? He's using the English language on us. The GOAT. Not the GOAT, but the GOAT. Akil, state your case. Akil, I want to hear from you. State your case. And you know what? Y'all don't have to state it in the chat. All we need is the email address. You could get yourself all looking good and jump on camera. And you could talk right to us. We could bring you into the feed tonight. But we want to hear. We're not just going to open up and just tell you what we think just yet. I want to hear from the people on the side. Kobe says, easy, MJ. And I hate the Bulls. Detroit basketball. So we got two people staking their flags. Now, here's the thing. As we let the comments roll in, you heard Dre say this. Criteria. Usually, in order to have a fair discussion about the greatest of all time, you have to set some parameters. Oh, there's an email address. We finally got one. It's time to invite.
Akil, bro. Let's
Y'all
go.
Heard it. He's taking the challenge, ladies and gents.
So while Joey cues that up,
let me cue that up.
Listen, let me give you some backstory on this young man. This young man, I mean, listen, when we used to work together, the conversations on life were just awesome.
Okay.
Like music, like the dude knows everything. And his acumen, I run with it. That's my dog. Hopefully he'll come over here saying nothing crazy, but I appreciate it either way. Here's why I can accept LeBron as the GOAT. Statistic wise, he washes both guys. Now, everybody say he started earlier, he's playing longer, but statistics wise, he's washing these guys. Intangible wise, he got both of them. He can defend 1 through 5. He's versatile in everything he does. He's in his 16th year and he's playing point guard. Versatility. Here's why I accept MJ as the GOAT. Because he was before my time, and I can't say nothing bad about him. he is undefeated in every finals appearance. He's 6 for 6. He retired, came back, still got the dubs. He played in an era where you get put up and messed up going to the hole. Wasn't no softness. And he got hella, and he was the finals MVP in all his finals. Here's why I accept Kobe. Kobe, one of the most coldest killers of all time, always willing to take the last shot, knew he was going to take the last shot, still took the last shot. Took a horrible team to the finals. Yes, it had Paul Gasol, but Andrew Bynum, that doesn't age well. Sasha Vujacic, Candace Parker's brother. We're not even going to give him his real name. He took a bunch of scrubs to the finals and beat the Celtics that had a big 3. Got 2 more rings after Shaq. That's why we accept Kobe. And went through turmoil through his whole career, probably the meat of his career, still came up on top. I'm willing to accept all these guys.
Oh, wow.
So what's everybody saying?
Okay, so let's talk through what everybody's saying first. So we got all right, so Akil, we already know. Akil is in the green room right now, about to come in and state his case. He's already stated LeBron is the GOAT. Kobe says easy, MJ and I hate the Bulls, Detroit basketball. Corey says Akron's own LeBron James. Leonardo says Michael Jordan is the GOAT, 6-0. Kobe 5-1. LeBron 3-6. Jared says Michael Jordan. Basketball was physical, then hand checking, no flagrant fouls on everyone still. Leonardo added on to his take on it. Michael saying everyone is being compared to Jordan. Kobe says MJ is the GOAT. Kobe is better than LeBron. LeBron is a great teammate, and if there's at least 2 more stars, He's incredible. I'm going to go as far as to say, before we bring Akil in, that y'all got the third guy in this picture wrong anyway. Kobe's not even in this conversation.
Oh.
Kobe is not in this conversation. He is guaranteed number 3. He is not in this conversation. Now, I'm going to say that.
Kobe's not in GOAT talk?
Kobe's not in GOAT talk?
Whoa.
No. Kobe won how many with Shaq? Okay. Does Kobe win those? Does Kobe win those without Shaq?
Oh, man.
There's only 2 people in this conversation, people. There's only 2.
Kobe said, then who?
That's it. It ain't no who. It's 2 people in this discussion.
Oh, man.
All right, that's a hot take right there.
You disrespecting the dead.
That's Corey. No, don't do me like that. All right, so let you bring him in. Walk the man in. I'm gonna bring him on camera. Let me take the picture out here for a second. Let's see if we can add him in here. You ready? Let's do this.
Hey!
I don't know why I'm bigger in this picture, but there we go. Let's do that.
What's going on, man?
What up, though? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
All right. That's what's up. I can only hear y'all through this, maybe it's because I got it on. Anyway. Y'all want me to go into it?
Go into it, man.
The floor is yours. The floor is yours.
All right, so I'm like a lifelong basketball fan. 41 years old. I watched Michael Jordan as a child, as like a young cat, into my teens. Watched the NBA change during his era, you know what I'm saying? A lot of cats don't realize when Jordan was balling his first 5, 6, 7 years, he was getting popped against teams that had talent on the level of the teams that Brown was playing in the finals like every year. He was playing against Golden State Warrior type teams when he was playing against the Celtics and the Pistons and the Sixers, even the Milwaukee Bucks, the Cleveland Cavs. Like, Jordan was getting popped. He didn't start, you know what I'm saying, turning that around into his 4th season when Scottie Pippen got there and Horace Grant got there. Up until then, Jordan was like, you know, pretty much not like all flash, but, you know, he could ball. He was a beast on defense. His skill level was ridiculous, but he would get popped. And, you know what I'm saying, when it turned around for him is when, in my opinion, and you can, you know what I'm saying, look at history, is when the league got old, all the great teams got old, the Pistons, the Lakers, the Celtics, they got old, and he, in the newspaper, he went to the league and complained about how physical the game was, how the Pistons got away with like murder. So the game changed. And also, he went through 2 expansions. So that weakened the league. That dude was balling against, in the finals, and I'm not taking nothing away from the teams he was playing, but he was balling against Jeff Hornacek and Percy Hawkins. You know what I'm saying? And Dan Murray. Now, in turn, my guy, and I, you know what I'm saying, I could be a little bit biased because I like how Brian get down just in life in general and how he came into the league as a super young cat and just, you know what I'm saying, he balled out first season, and took his team to the finals at 22 with some bums, like dudes like me, who've been with him, you know what I'm saying, like Steve Gibbons, and
Daniel Marshall.
Ilgauskas was a beast, and he like, Elgato was a beast when he was like 27 and in Europe, but you know what I'm saying? Like them dudes wasn't like killing it, and he was playing up against some hard competition in Eastern Conference. Once it became, you know what I'm saying, time for him to mature, and he got to the point where he was sick of losing and begging the Cavaliers front office to get him some players, and he went to Miami. Yeah, granted, everybody who go against LeBron always bring up the Maverick series, always. As a LeBron fan, that dude choked in that series. He played real timid. He was deferring to Dwayne Wade a lot. Like, you know what I'm saying? He was. I had never seen him play like that. Even as a young cat, he was never like super timid. He was real timid in that series. But after that, look at the dude's numbers. And then when you're talking about competition, the players on the athletic level that he had to go up against and the teams that he had to face in the finals, those were like really good teams. That San Antonio team was a really good team. So like, what are you talking about? Golden State is a top 2 teams of all time.
All right,
top 3 teams of all time.
Akil, so your criteria right now, if you give a top 3 criteria why you picking LeBron, is you're discrediting Jordan's competition against LeBron's competition. And then what's your other 2 sticking points?
The fact that this dude for 17 years straight has been like a machine, bro. And for and for 10, 11 of those years, he was probably the best player in the league. Maybe even more.
Gotcha.
So, like, the fact that for this long he's been this consistent, this like dominant to the point where he can go to a team, and I don't care what you say, he brings players with him, X, Y, Z. But if he brings like these superstar, all-star players with him, how come when you leave the team they are trash afterwards? Only Miami was decent when he left.
Right.
Everybody was like, "Yo, bro, like."
They won in the championship conversation.
How come them all-star players that, you know what I'm saying, he brought with him to win didn't do what Toronto did when Kawhi Leonard left?
All right. So that's like, there we go. So the dominance, the longevity, and the competition, that's within itself, bro. All right. Appreciate it, man. Hey, shout out what you got coming out, man. I know you was doing the podcast for a minute.
Oh, yeah, we still got a podcast going. It's called The High Five Guys. We are on iTunes and Spotify.
All right.
And then, I got a couple things coming out. I got an ebook coming out. So I definitely hit y'all when that drops.
Yeah. All right, brother. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. You the crown and jewel, bro. You the first person. So
first person to jump in. Appreciate you joining us.
Y'all already know, bro. Great show. Great show. Yeah.
Oh, my bad. We get used to how we working that in. Okay, so we appreciate him coming in the feed. Now you know we gotta respond. Gotta let the people respond. We heard what was said. I call bogus.
No.
I don't call bogus. He makes some good points. But he
makes the LeBron points.
He makes some good points, and everybody's entitled to opinion, like we were saying. There's no criteria here. This is solely yours. This is your goal based on your criteria. He set his 3 criteria up. I believe that his criteria have holes in them, though.
Okay, no, I don't think so. Strength of competition.
The strength of competition? The East is whack.
Well, who did he go up against? He had to go against a West team to win the titles. He had to go against legendary Spurs teams to get his championships in Miami. No.
Hold
Those
on.
were good Spurs
Hold on.
teams.
Yes,
With
they were.
Kawhi Leonard, Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker, and Greg Popovich.
Hold on. He had to go against good Spurs teams. He did that with help.
You would need help.
Okay? So
you would need help to go against super teams.
Okay, so he had a super team. Did he not?
He had guys that he got to play with him.
Okay.
That were on an elite level, like Dwayne Wade, sub-elite level, like Chris Bosh, and Scott, like Mike Miller and Mario Chalmers, against a team that was already jailed, that had already won championships, that had at least 3 Hall of Famers in it, and a Hall of Fame coach.
That 3 Hall of Famers that were past their prime.
Kawhi Leonard wasn't past his prime.
Kawhi Leonard wasn't Kawhi Leonard of today, though.
But he was there, though.
Kawhi Leonard wasn't Kawhi Leonard of today, though.
How would they pass their prime and they still popped him for a ring, though?
They popped him for a ring.
He didn't three-peat.
And they should have lost. And
they got a ring off.
The Heat should have won that series.
But they got a ring off, though.
That's true, but the Heat should have won that series.
You can't say they was decrepit when they got a ring off.
They wasn't decrepit, but they weren't the dominant Spurs of the 2000s that the Pistons lost to. They weren't the dominant. But they did get a ring.
A lot of people in that era.
Yeah, but come on now. The Mavericks also got a ring off of them. So we know why. We know the Heat. We know the Heat didn't. We know the Heat didn't get the Mavericks series because LeBron didn't play well. We know that the Heat didn't get the last Spurs series because the Heat didn't play well. Because that Heat team had better scut and should have won that Spurs series. They had better scut than they had when they beat the Thunder.
No, that's
yes.
Not true.
They had better.
I'm talking about, okay, when they beat the Thunder were top heavy. They were a young team.
Right.
I get that. But that Spurs team, there was nothing. That was a team. I mean, they still got guys on that team playing. Patty Mills, they still got good guys playing on that team.
Correct.
It's a Hall of Fame coach. LeBron has never had a Hall of Fame coach.
The three guys that were the big three of that team were not the prime big three when they were winning dominant championships in every odd year of the 2000s. But they got
a ring off. Like, you can't say they weren't good and they got a ring off.
That's because the Heat didn't play as well. I blame the Heat more than I call Spurs winning. Also, I have another issue with the argument.
Every other team in the West that they beat to get there.
I have another issue with his argument, though. This man just knocked the teams of the 90s and the late 80s. Those are some of the greatest teams ever assembled that he had to get through. All of those teams. No, sir. Whether they were old or not is not. They were still the Celtics had a Hall of Fame squad.
Old. Who the
Hall of Fame?
Agree with them.
Hall of Fame squad.
Old Celtics. I'm looking at right here.
That doesn't mean he's right. The Celtics.
Man, Bird couldn't stand up. He barely played on the dream team.
Man, don't knock the fact that he had to go through Celtics, he had to go through Lakers, and he had to go through Pistons.
They was all old and decrepit by the time he went through them.
The Pistons were not old and decrepit, sir.
Old and decrepit.
Knock.
They were done. But you got LeBron going against KD and the Warriors, and people get mad when he won't help.
Sir, listen. I don't knock him for that. Here's what I will say this, though, as far as we're talking GOAT. And when you're comparing things, all we're doing is, are there holes to poke in the comparison? But my question to you still would be this. Did LeBron went through one team every year that he got his ring? They only had to go through one team. They never had trouble getting out of the East. Never. There was never a team in the East that they had to get through before they beat a team in the West. They always had. You mean the big three in Boston?
Boston. He had to go through Boston. Lost to Boston. Had to go through Boston to get there.
Okay. All right.
They formulated a team just to beat him.
Again,
people forget that. They were the team that was made.
Jordan went through the Celtics and the Bulls. And let's not sleep on other teams in the East that were tough teams that he carried the Bulls past. The Cavaliers of the late 80s, early 90s.
Listen, the Cavaliers now will get squashed. Just because you thought, okay, let's leave Cleveland out of this because it's
No, I'm just saying. This was brought up in the chat. Corey even brought it up. He said, they weren't old. They were Hall of Famers. Hall of Famers
get old.
Listen, before he got on his title run, he had to go through much more than LeBron had to go through to get on his title run.
Perfect. LeBron kept going at the Pistons. Pistons kept putting them out until they got old, and he put off 21 straight points in the fourth quarter in overtime, and he finally overcame.
Right, Jordan kept going. Jordan kept going at the Pistons. Jordan had to go to the Celtics.
Old, and then he started
winning his
point.
There's a hole. There's a hole in the argument. No, you can't have the same point for both players. If that's his point for LeBron, but that was his point for LeBron over Jordan. How? If that's the same thing Jordan had to do.
But once he got to the finals, he's still facing old people. When LeBron gets to the finals,
every team he's played,
he's facing a young KD, young Russ, already formulated Spurs team. He's facing already formulated Spurs team and a mega team, a 2K team in the Golden State Warriors. By the time he gets to the West, they got a mega team on the other side or a young, hungry team. He's not facing Magic Johnson with 3 broke knees.
At the end of the day, you can't even debate. You know why you can't even debate that? Because you can't choose who you play, right? Is that even a debate? Can you use that?
People use everything against anybody nowadays.
I know. I was just asking. All right. We got Stu in the building.
Jeez.
You ready? Next man up tonight. Here we go.
Hey, good evening, gentlemen.
This guy right here. This guy.
That's right.
My guy, bro. My guy. What's going on?
You already know. Yo, LeBron James argument is about to go down the toilet.
Oh, man.
Now, first,
state your piece, man. Keep it quick. State your piece.
Michael Jeffrey Jordan, 6-0 in the finals. Like my man said, he's a game changer. But, yeah, Jordan was a crybaby. Oh, well, he changed the game, and Jordan was still doing his thing in the 80s, popping off 60 points in the Garden against a Hall of Fame Boston team. Still had to go through a young up-and-coming Cleveland team with Mark Price and Brad Daugherty. So don't act like these teams from the 80s and 90s were just scrubs that he had to go through like LeBron had to go through. LeBron lost to what's the fag? Dwight Howard. He couldn't get paid. We were supposed to get our Kobe LeBron final, but Dwight Howard stopped him. So that's why he number 3. Mr. Kobe Bean Bryant is number 2 because he gave us Mamba mentality. He said, I'm going to be Jordan, but I'm going to be one better. That's why I wear 24. But he couldn't get that extra ring because his organization couldn't give him the tools that he needed. But Kobe, he went to the finals with Sasa Vujacic. I mean, who the hell is Sasa Vujacic? Andrew Bynum? Come on now. Andrew Bynum? We went to the finals with Andrew Bynum. So and he only played 27 minutes?
You going Jordan, Kobe, Bron?
Jordan, Kobe, LeBron. Don't get me wrong, LeBron James is the ultimate team player. He's the ultimate rah-rah guy, but he needs help. When it comes to facing other complete teams, if this Miami squad wouldn't have got injured, this would be a 2-2 series right now, or either 3-1 Miami, because LeBron don't know how to play against a full team because he don't know how to utilize his full skills. He has the worst post-up game.
But doesn't everybody need help? Doesn't every player need help?
Oh, there's nothing wrong with needing help and counting on your teammates, but it's something wrong when you need another star of your stature to come bail you out. I need AD to get my post game because I don't have a post game now that I'm 49 years old in the league and I still don't know how to post.
I gotta go try to. Bro. One Scotty a top 50 player. One Scotty a all defensive player. Then he come into his own.
I mean, but Scotty was drafted by the Bulls. You can't say that. Scotty wasn't recruited by Mike in the summertime with Taco Tuesdays and Mai Tais. You know what I'm saying? He ain't go. And then when LeBron went to Miami, not only did he suffer, he crippled Cleveland, but he crippled Toronto, an up and coming franchise. And then he powered up the Heat. So you broke down 3 organizations to give yourself a weaker way to the finals. Just like Jay was just saying, you played against busters and scrubs until you got to the Western Conference Finals. And I think San Antonio did beat LeBron twice in the finals.
Oh,
first time when he was with Cleveland, they sent him home
the
real
first
quick.
time, it was just happy to be here.
Hey, he got his participation trophy. To me, LeBron James is that ultimate guy who, when you went home, when you first bought Madden, and you before you uploaded the roster, you turned everybody's stats up to 99, and then you traded all the teams, and you made your team the best. So you got like Tayshaun Prince in the Lakers, and you got Kobe Bryant on your team. You done made these horrible trades that nobody in real life would have done, and you got all the 99s on your team. And then next thing you know, you winning 79 games because you simulated 2 games or something like that.
All right.
That's LeBron James.
All right. Now we gotta talk about you off air. Appreciate you, bro.
Peace out, fellas.
Appreciate you, bro. Thank you.
Oh.
Hey, but one thing. This is why I mess with y'all, right? This is why I mess with everybody who comment. I appreciate the comment section going crazy right now. My man put up one with Jared Page. Scotty was drafted by Seattle, right?
Mm-hmm.
My man's went and got Scotty there. So you can't, like, he saw that this would have been a good pairing with his superstar, Jay Krause, and he went and got Scotty.
Okay.
So
the organization did that.
The organization went and got Scotty. Hey, don't do that. Because every time I was saying that LeBron was the secret GM, you'd be like, come on, man, it's the organization. Come on, man, it's the organization.
It's the organization.
So take this as the organization going to get Mike a guy that he can run with, because he was getting popped over and over again, and then they got him a number 2 that he could roll with. So stop all this slander talking about he need players. Mike needed players too, because John Paxson won him a series, and so did Steve Kerr.
Oh, wait a minute now. First of all, I don't ever go there with the organization piece. You just twisted it. But let's be clear. There's a difference in your GM or your director of basketball operations going out and getting you players than there is in you going and recruiting players. There's a difference. Okay? Now, I have never been the one to really bag on LeBron for that, because that's today's generation. That's what they do in today's NBA. Okay? People knock LeBron for the super team. I don't knock LeBron for the super team, because your first big 3 was in Boston. It wasn't in Miami. It was in Boston, which that was an organizational move. I don't knock LeBron and them doing what they did, because once that big 3 got together, then clearly if Cleveland wasn't going to put or couldn't afford or wasn't going to put together a big 3, then LeBron definitely had to go and do what he had to do with his boys. Now, I will argue that back in when those trades, when things were taking place, Cleveland was doing everything in their power to get the best free agent out there, because if you go back to that time period, you cannot knock. People kill me with the 2020 hindsight where they say, what, they went and got Antoine Jameson. When they went and got Antoine Jameson, he was one of the biggest free agents at that time. When they went and got Shaq, that was a big move. When they went and got all the players they went to try to get to winning Cleveland, that was Cleveland making the best decision they could make. At the end of the day, it didn't work.
That first squad overachieved. We will all say that. I mean, like
the 2007 squad?
Yeah, the first final shot. Definitely overachieved. The second squad, it was Kyrie was hot trash, okay? When he was there, he was winning 12 games a year. They drafted Tristan Thompson. And so who's your Akil said, who's your 99 overall player on that one? Kevin Love? Kevin Love was reduced to a spot-up shooter when he got on there. He wasn't even Kevin Love. He wasn't a 2020 guy that he was in Minnesota. he conformed his game so they can win a ring, and LeBron ran that team. And then Kyrie became a guy. It wasn't like, hey, come get Kyrie. He went back to Cleveland. Kyrie was already there. He was just a young ball handler who could win more than 12 games. So that's not acting like he made that last Cleveland team into some superpower that he just said, hey, bring all these guys here. Nobody wants to go to Cleveland. He barely got Kevin Love there.
I never. That's not my call. I don't.
I mean, like he manipulated the world to get J.R. Smith and Amon Shumpert. Like, no, like what 99 overall did he get to come play in Cleveland? Kyrie was already there, and he wasn't even Kyrie when he got there. And you already see from his little quotes that the little jealousy was seething under his little toxic skin the whole time. He didn't want LeBron there as much as LeBron didn't want his ass.
Okay, so state your case. State your case. Who? What say you? Because it looks like everybody else is giving their two piece in the chat. We appreciate everybody stating it. The GOAT argument. We usually when we have this discussion, we put parameters on it. So tonight, you're free from parameters. What say you?
I gotta go with my generation. I gotta go with the man that I see with my two eyes. I saw Cole and I saw Bron. I was never a Cole fan. But I respected that man. And I respected everything he did for the game. But my two eyes tell me LeBron James is the better player than Kobe Bryant. He's the better passer. He's the better scorer. He's the better defender of all 5 positions. I gotta go with that. LeBron took worse teams than Kobe did. They both took some trash teams to the finals. Don't get me wrong. Ain't no Kobe slander here. Kobe took some trash teams that did not age well in there. But like Corey said, let's not talk about Lamar Odom like he was a punk. Lamar Odom was a good player. He wasn't on 99 overall. He was a good player. He was a good role player. The triangle worked. And plus, you had a Hall of Fame coach in Phil Jackson. Once again, LeBron James has never had anybody close to being a Hall of Fame coach. Eric Spoelstra keep going like he does, he'll become a Hall of Fame coach, but that was with LeBron's help. LeBron ain't never had a Hall of Fame coach. So you telling me he lost to Greg Popovich and Phil Jackson and he a scrub? I was like, come on, man. He went against Hall of Famers and still got dubs off.
Okay. So I'm a Cleveland guy. Kobe's not in this conversation. I wish y'all would stop.
Oh, I just wish y'all
would stop.
I'm
Kobe. Listen, and Kobe. I'm not. This is, and then you know what? We no criteria, right? So I can say what I want to say. Kobe's not in this conversation. Let's put we put these stats up, and the stats they line up pretty well, and they favor. Let's see, points per game favor Mike. Points total favor LBJ. Rebounds favor LeBron. Positionally, he's going to dominate. Assists, that's yep. Steals, Mike. Blocks, LeBron. Shooting percentage, LeBron. That's a surprise. LeBron played a lot more games. Kobe actually played a few more. That the LeBron stats are probably going to be much more here in a minute. And then you got the salary totals. Okay. So when you look at that, I'm gonna start right here. I'm gonna go like it's been said already. 6-0. 6-0. 6-0. And it would have been 8 if he didn't go play baseball for 2 years. 6-0. Not 6, not 5-1, not 4-2, not 6-0 and you know, and they could have did it without him. None of that. 6-0. Because of him, you know the names of John Paxson. Because of him, you know the names of B.J. Armstrong and Steve Kerr and Bill Cartwright. Because of him, the marketing of the game changed. He put the NBA on the map.
Part of your criteria?
Hey, this is my criteria, right? Them Rockets teams wasn't no punks, but they would not have beaten Mike those 2 years. The Rockets won because Mike decided to go be a horrible baseball player. Or maybe he had gambling issues, or his daddy got killed, whatever. Whatever y'all want to decide the story is.
The mafia told him he had to back off.
The mafia got him. Whatever y'all want the story to be. The Bulls would have won 8 straight. Without Mike, you don't know Phil Jackson's name. Phil Jackson wasn't anybody until he got to Chicago, until Krause and Reinsdorf took a chance on him, thinking this is the next guy. He's part of the reason that they definitely won them last 3, but Mike carried them teams. And y'all can miss me with the whole age thing. The Lakers were Hall of Fame top to bottom. Miss me with the age thing. I'm not going to knock LeBron for who he played in his era, so I'm not going to knock Mike for who he played in his era, because they don't get no choice in that. He can't come to this era and play. Back then, LeBron would only survive because of his body type, because you could get beat down back then. Mike had to go through teams, not people, teams. Then, not only that, when he was a young pup, he came into the league giving work. 1 team, 6 titles. All right? Mike is the GOAT of all time. The numbers. Less games, look at the numbers.
So the level of competition that he was going against, you don't take that into consideration.
I take that into consideration, but I saw that level of competition. Y'all didn't see that level of competition, but trying to call that level of competition whack. How y'all didn't even grow up in that time? Go call that level of competition
grew up
whack.
In the same era. He the one that brought the point up. I have no historical reference. He brought it up. I didn't bring it up.
The league in the late 90s, as the transition began to happen, definitely was weaker than the league of all the athletes of today, because the league went through transition phases. The league had its the league had its you could say like the golden era in the 80s when Magic and Larry went at it. Then here comes this guy Mike onto the scene. Then you had other players in the league like the Barkleys, the Olajuwons. There were some. Look at the top 50 greatest players of all time. Most of them played in the 80s and 90s in this league. This was the golden era. When Mike
be in the 60s or 70s.
When Mike left the league, he was like the last guy out. Once he left the league, then you had that transition where they let all the 18-year-olds in, and the league got crappy for some years, except for that 2003 draft. Then they closed the league back off. And then you got now those kids start growing up, and now they the dogs, and they the seniors of the league now. Jordan, nothing without Phil. What?
That's a solid point. Put it up. That's a solid point.
Okay.
They made each other, right? Phil came in with his system. Mike wasn't doing well with the system that old boy was running, Collins. He was getting off, but he wasn't winning no games.
Right, he was getting off, but he wasn't winning. That's true. He was more the athlete. He was right. LeBron. LeBron and Mike went through the same phases of the game.
But LeBron never had a Hall of Fame coach come in, or Hall of Fame potential coach come in with his own system catered to him to win championships.
He didn't have a Hall of Fame coach come in and cater to him. He was a coach who came in.
He was a Hall of Fame caliber coach, obviously. He's in the Hall of Fame now.
Phil Jackson was not a Hall of Fame caliber coach when he joined the Bulls.
He came up with his own scheme and brought it to Mike and made Mike a winner.
Who is the creator of the triangle offense?
Who implemented the triangle offense?
No, who's the creator of it?
Some old white man that was in the back of the bus with him. Who stole it and applied it to Michael Jordan? Phil Jackson.
No, Tex Winter.
Who stole it and applied it to Michael Jordan? Phil Jackson.
Okay. All right. So
and took his stolen stuff from Michael Jordan to Kobe Bryant.
Tony says Jordan ain't without Pippen either.
Without another top 50 player, Jordan wouldn't have 6 rings.
Stop.
Let's be honest.
Stop. Here, I'm gonna kill that argument right now. This is why I'm gonna kill that argument. When Jordan left, what did Scottie win?
He went to the playoffs.
When Jordan
went to the first round both times.
Thank you. When LeBron, did D-Wade win before he got LeBron?
With Shaq, yes.
Yep. Who was the dog on that team?
D-Wade.
Okay.
Was D-Wade when LeBron got there? No.
No, he wasn't.
He was a cripple.
That's not the argument. I'm going after the Yates argument though.
He wasn't the same guy.
I'm going after the Yates argument about him not being nothing without Scottie. We disproved that.
D-Wade when LeBron got there wasn't Pippen. Pippen was a beast, 6'8", 6'9", all muscle going through the hole, slamming on people. D-Wade is a 6'6", broken knee, often injured, missing games, explosive guy. That's who he was when LeBron got there.
Sir, D-Wade had to digress on that team when LeBron got there. Remember, that was the story. Hey, Jared Page just throws up a question.
And he had Pat Riley. No, D-Wade had Pat Riley, not LeBron. That's not the point. He said D-Wade had Pat Riley. That's why they won that ring.
Phil Jackson was the unknown.
But he had a system.
Tex Winter.
He had, but who implemented it?
Oh, all right. So
if I had an offensive scheme and you the head coach, I say, hey coach, try this, and you win it. Who they writing articles about? They writing articles about you. They ain't writing articles about me. You only know. Well, I ain't gonna talk about your acumen. We only know his name because of the documentary. That's it.
That's not my fault. Somebody didn't raise y'all and teach y'all history. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, and that's not on me. The reason you really know his name, I'm gonna tell you why you really know his name. You really know his name because you still line up today to buy them shoes.
Tex Winter?
No, you know Jordan's name because you buy them shoes.
Oh no, I was talking about Tex. I was talking about that guy.
Oh, okay.
Come on, man.
So he said if Yates said if Jordan gets a ring in the '80s, then he's the GOAT.
It's against prime people. Against prime, you could say the Magic Bird rivalry. Whoever won that, they was a dog in that era because they went against dog teams.
If LeBron beats the Spurs in 07, he's the GOAT.
I think people would still have something to say, but it would make his case better. You're saying that out loud, like for you.
No, I'm saying that. See, here's why I struggle. This is why I struggle when we have these debates without criteria. Because for everything you throw out there for one of them, there's something to throw out there for the other. So if you just put it in a vacuum and say, if Jordan had won in the '80s, he would have been the GOAT. He would have won one in the '80s, he would have been the GOAT. Because the argument there is that was prime time. Celtics, Lakers were in their prime. You beat them, you're good. So my throwback to that is if LeBron had won at 07, he would have been the GOAT. Because essentially what you have is you have a really bad Bulls team with Mike on it in the 80s where Mike was just a dog, but the team was horrible. And you have a really bad Cleveland team in 07 where LeBron takes them after a couple of years of them kind of ascending slowly and him becoming a player. Finally in 07, he takes this crappy team to the finals. And yes, I was in Cleveland at the time. We were just happy to be there. We were excited. So if they had won, then you could argue that he's the GOAT.
All right, listen, go back up to, because I don't want to miss none of these. Can you go back up to, can we start at Akil's Tex Winters and go back down? Because I want to get everybody they like, because that's why we tagged everybody. We want to get everybody their stuff. Kills, going back, Tex Winters. Tony said Phil was good when he got there. So that's a credit to Phil. Phil says they went to the semis back when we were talking about Pippen. Pippen went to the semifinals the second time and lost in the first round the first time, I think. Corey said James Harden puts up empty stats and is criticized. That is very true. Nobody likes James Harden. Tony says, please talk about Jordan at the Wizards.
What about it? Is that supposed to knock his GOAT status down?
If we're putting everything on the table, Jordan came back. He was lackluster. LeBron at that age that you would think would be better.
Okay.
Maybe we're making that comparison.
All right.
Corey said Mike did it, and he's the GOAT. That's a pretty definite thing. James said Kobe versus Iverson is Kobe fight, but that's another decision. So are you saying that? Are you agreeing with Joel that Kobe's not in this consideration of the GOAT? He's on the next tier, fighting with Iverson, trying to get there. Tony said Jordan gets a ring in the '80s, then yeah, he the GOAT of all time. Woo. How you say that? Produced by? Prod by?
Yeah.
If the Heat
by PD.
If the Heat wins these finals, is Eric Spoelstra up there with Phil? Absolutely not. Eric Spoelstra.
No.
Eric Spoelstra is a great story of a film room guy, president seeing his talent, and a guy that did a great job with a super team, did a great job without a super team, and doing a good job with a guy that's trying to ascend to be a superstar. Jimmy Butler. Stu, do your own research. Don't know what that was. So I guess we got to put Isaiah Thomas in the GOAT conversation. Then, if that's the case, Yates.
He's talking to Yates on that one.
In the ring in the 80s?
Yeah. Kobe versus Iverson. It's Kobe. No, it's Kobe.
Kobe versus Iverson is Kobe real battle. I think Iverson isn't nowhere near this conversation because he has 0 rings. Tony said Wade got 1, but without Shaq, it wouldn't have happened. And Jordan's shoes cold. But don't forget Nike made them shoes. Akil said, who did LeBron have in 2007? Absolutely
nobody. Nobody.
Tony said,
I only brought up the 2007 team in comparison to Mike having to win in the 80s. Because when Mike came to the league, it's well documented, they had nobody. They had a bunch of guys that were smoking or sniffing or doing something in them hotel rooms, and Mike wasn't having nothing to do with it. So if they had somehow won a championship back then, you know what? Even if the 2007 LeBrons had won against the Spurs, and you go back and say Jordan would have won one in the 80s, I would argue still that Jordan was the GOAT, because then I would argue that the Celtics of the 80s or the Lakers of the 80s were better than the Spurs of 2007.
If they both would have won their first one?
Early, basically, yes.
Well, yeah. I don't think anybody would probably put the 80s Lakers or the 80s Boston against the 2007 Spurs. I would say that level of competition would be screwed.
Right.
Tony said Kobe was Jordan. The fact that he will never be better than him is the reason Bron is the only GOAT argument. So he's what you saying. Kobe is not even in this argument.
Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry, y'all. And that is a part of my thinking on Kobe. He was emulating Mike, but he never became Mike. And unfortunately, and we had this debate with Cephas, with Sports.Cephas, the machine of the NBA never got behind Kobe because Kobe had some indiscretions that the league did not want to back him on. So they briefly gave us that we needed to get the LeBron-Kobe thing happening. They tried, and that was not because Kobe was the face of the league. That was because they really wanted LeBron to be the face of the league, and then it never happened because the Cavs could never get out of the East and sometimes could not even get to the Eastern Conference Finals.
And on top of that, too, you see something over and over and over again. You get sick of it. They pushed LeBron so early, like before he even got into the league.
Well, yeah.
Before he even got into the league, Sports Illustrated, like they crowned him so early that people was just not going to like him just off rip. Like it's people that don't like him for no reason other than he was pushed down their throat so early.
Right.
And, they really don't got nothing on.
I think Yates just hates Jordan.
Corey said the comparison is young Mike and Harden. It was broke up.
I don't know what that would be.
You mean like Harden? I don't know.
Why we keep bringing Harden up?
Yeah, nobody likes him. Stop.
Like, why do we keep bringing him up?
Produced by said 07, it was LeBron and his headband. That's it. That was it. It was him and Delonte Weston. We see what happened to him.
Ooh, yeah. Unfortunately, sorry, Delonte. Mark Cuban got your back though.
And you say
that's bold what he did to LeBron Mama though.
All right, listen. LeBron didn't reach out to him. Tony said Jordan snitching ass. So yeah, there could be some. Listen, if you from Detroit, surrounding areas, the state of Michigan, your pops, your granddad was a Bad Boys fan. You inherited some bad boys in you, in your blood, that made you hate Michael Jordan just off the humble.
Yep.
Just like we was talking about hating LeBron just off of this oversaturation. If you were in a certain part of the area, you just hate Michael Jordan just because. So, I mean, that's ingrained in a lot of people that are Piston fans.
Yeah, Stu just points out, I don't know the league wanted to get rid of Kobe after the rape charge, but unfortunately LeBron couldn't do his part and make it out of the East. Yeah, I think there was a knock on Kobe. I think Kobe suffered a couple years for that, and they passed the torch past him to LeBron.
Yeah.
I think it could have definitely been Kobe's league because as Jordan was leaving, if you look at some of that late film of Jordan's career, there was that endearment of Jordan and Kobe and the competitiveness of Jordan and Kobe and Jordan kind of passing that torch to Kobe and Kobe taking it and running with it and emulating his idol. Obviously, it made sense to do that. However, at the end of the day, the rape charge threw him out.
When we had that conversation, it was like Kobe was never really the face of the league, right? LeBron or Mike was the face of the league. He made the league. He grew the league. He established the league internationally, right? And then Kobe was pegged as the next Mike. Like he was winning championships. He was with Shaq, but it's still a Shaq and Kobe kind of thing. Iverson was there. Iverson was the darling of the fan. People wanted to watch Iverson. He was the new wave. Like Iverson was the face. And Kobe was the best player. It was two kind of different things. But once they went to the whole dress code thing, Kobe lost out on his MVPs to who? Steve Nash, Tim Duncan. So that's in that era of basketball. Corporate. Yeah. They went super corporate and they went super boring.
Yep.
So that's when Tim Duncan was gobbling up all his championships. And the ratings were all at all-time lows in the NBA Finals.
Right.
And then Kobe was balling. His team wasn't doing that well, so they gave the MVPs to Steve Nash.
Yep.
So they were going through that moment. And then LeBron came and it was like, okay, we're going to give this guy the torch.
Yep.
Kobe got a charge. It don't look good for the league.
Yep.
And it don't look good for us to give it to Steve Nash. So we're going to give it to LeBron. He's chosen one. Yeah. That's kind of how it went. So Kobe should probably have 2 more MVPs. Oh yeah. If he stayed with Shaq, he'll probably have 6 rings right now. Oh yeah, but it didn't work out that way.
Didn't work out that way. That's why he's not even in this conversation. I'm gonna bail this comment though. Harold Miner, who is a real baby Jordan, not Kobe. I think that's trolling there. Derek said Mike's a GOAT. Bron might have a more impressive resume, maybe. Kobe is 3. Stu said, don't forget Dirk took an MVP from Kobe too.
He did. So there was an obvious people. I felt rest in peace to the dead. But David Stern was lying through his teeth when he was talking about or not lying through his teeth, but when he was talking about, I think there was a thing going on with Jordan in the background where he had to remove him.
Oh yeah, the whole situation.
Yeah. And he had to remove him.
They definitely hit it better.
Yeah. So
yeah, they did a good job.
Yeah.
The Mafia always wins.
Derek said there's no real criteria for the GOAT. The idea is just to be in the conversation. It's a matter of opinion at this point. Mike and Bron are the only 2 that's really in the conversation.
100%. I think that's at the end of the day, that's why these are always hard to have and why you have to have criteria around them. I think a lot is said, though, because as to really who the GOAT is, and again, this is just me throwing some more gas on the flame, but every time we bring up a GOAT conversation, it always starts with Mike. We wouldn't even be having this conversation.
Because he was the first. He was the first GOAT.
He's the first GOAT?
Oh, well, he was the first GOAT.
There can only be one.
Because none of us have any historical reference to Wilt, right? Nobody saw the 100-point game. Is it a myth, or is it a legend, or is it true? Nobody knows. We just take it for what it is.
I just seen the sign where he's holding the sign, the paper that says 100 points.
That's all we know. That could be the biggest. That could be the sea monster for all we know. That could be Sasquatch. Nobody knows if that's true or not. All right, and then Cap. So Kareem, like he just stood under a bucket, skyhook. What took him out of the conversation when Magic came? Magic carried his ass to some more rings, so that kind of took him out of the conversation. He played until he was 87, so of course he's lead the league point. Magic and Bird, they beat up on each other so much it's hard to tell. They both gave each other L's in the finals. So when you get the 6-0 in the finals and you a dog and the league put the machine on your back, yeah, you the first GOAT. We like he's recognized as the first GOAT. Now everybody else is boxing with God. You're trying to get the Black Jesus at this point. So who are the guys that's closest to him? So yeah, that's where the conversation is. Got to start at Jordan.
Okay. Well, I think we've done a good job tonight on this one. You want to go ahead? Let's transition.
You ready to call it?
I mean, what else is there to say?
You ready to call? Hey.
Stu says Jordan was not the first GOAT. Well, I mean,
who was the first GOAT?
Who was the first GOAT?
I did this. I'm sorry.
This is you all day.
Because like without Pitt, we have no historical reference. We seen Kobe without Shaq. We seen LeBron without D Wade.
So it's not our fault we didn't see.
I'm just saying historical reference.
I'm sorry that the Bulls decided that wasn't the case.
And then who holds this against this man? People hate him for this specifically, for making a whole spectacle out of this.
Bill Russell. Okay, let me answer that first question. I don't hold this against him, and I'm from the city. What I hold against LeBron when it came to this was how it was done, not what was done. The man was a free agent. The man had a right to pick his decision and make his decision to go wherever he wanted to go. When you heard about the details of it at that time, being also that it hurt because I was a local kid, I was not a fan of how he did it. When you heard about the lack of communication and people didn't know certain things beforehand, and there was no, I guess, kind of courtesy given to the hometown team that had helped him become or get to that level. But then when you find out afterwards about how some of the other negative things in management and in Cleveland were taking place, and then again 2020 hindsight, right? But at that time, a lot of people I know were mad at the decision. I was not mad at it in regards to his basketball decision. He had a right. He had given the city his 7 years. He did his or 5 years or whatever, get his contract, and he had a time. It was his choice to go, so he went. So I don't knock him for that. It's just how it happened.
Yeah, Tony just brought it up. So I don't want to call myself a hypocrite at this point. But is it hypocritical? Nope. Is it? I'll pose the question. Is it hypocritical?
KD, go ahead.
Is it hypocritical to not crush LeBron on the decision? Because I understand it was his choice. It was his right to move on and still crush KD for going to the Warriors?
Yes. No, it's not hypocritical. And I'm going to tell you why. Because let's measure them against each other for the same reason. Competitive balance. Let's just do that. Was he going to win a championship in Cleveland? Was he going to beat the Celtics?
No.
Okay. KD was on the Thunder, correct?
True.
Were they not up in the series?
Went to the finals before that even.
Okay. And they were up in the series, so they were showing you that they could beat the Warriors.
Yes.
You left that team that was capable of beating the Warriors and went to the Warriors. To me, that's different.
Okay. All right. As long as it hit different. Ron had one team be added to the NBA. Jordan had 5. Russell only had, 10 teams? Yeah. We throw Russell out this. Ain't nobody 85 in this argument.
I'm not. Listen, the Russell argument doesn't work for me because he was also like 6'11", and everybody else in the league at that time was like 6'5".
If
like,
that.
like if you go back and watch the little black and whites,
no 3-second rule. Just
he was just like literally, yeah. It wasn't no paint. It wasn't no. My man was just. Come on, man. Like it was literally one team in that league, and there were a couple of little players spread out, but it was one team. It was the Celtics, and they dominated.
Right, and then the whole Jordan thing of the expansion, like Akil was saying, and now Tony bringing up just the kind of the spreading out of players by adding more teams and diluting the pool of competitiveness helped Jordan as well.
Okay.
KD could win a ring with OKC, and we'll never know.
We won't, because he left. And now they're busy being petty on a podcast with his other petty buddy Kyrie.
Oh my! Can we pivot to that? I know we got a whole breakdown. No, okay.
No, go ahead.
They suck. They are some girls, bro. They like I don't even want to do that to females. I'm not gonna call them females. Like they are some punks. They are some little jealous, tiny punks. They some girls, bro. Like I can't stand neither one of them. I hate Kevin Durant and I hate Kyrie Irving. They are the most fickle, just uncouth people I've ever seen in my life. Just the softness just oozing out of their pores in that whole podcast. I stomach the whole thing. Both parts. It's 2 parts. It's a 2-part podcast. I stomach it both, and they both are just some babies, and I can't stand them. And I pray that they make it to the finals against LeBron and AD next year so he can smash their lives away. That's what I pray for next year. That is my crystal ball prediction for a whole year from now.
Oh, God.
I'm sorry. That's all I wanted. I'm sorry. So let's put a bow on this, guys. We gave you guys a whole hour plus on the GOAT Talk. If you didn't get in on the live feed, we definitely read comments after the feed is posted. So if you're on our Facebook page, you're on the YouTube page, still comment. We'll still get the alerts on comments. We'll still talk about your comments on the next show coming up. So just let us know. But for the guys that's on the stream right now, for the fans listening right now, for our family that's listening, let's put a bow on it. Say who you got. Say your piece. And that's it. That's forever to be recorded who your GOAT is, no matter what happens in this situation. All right, Corey said, name 2 perimeter guards Mike competed with during his prime. The league was littered with talent and wings. Once Bron got in the league, even another GOAT contender, Kobe. The talent is the major factor in determining the GOAT, in my opinion. Like it was said, Mike just ascended in a perfect time once Stern decided to market individuals over teams LeBron is facing. All the babies in that marketing decision. Yeah. Yeah, we got you. I like it.
I agree.
All right, so I am on record calling LeBron James the current GOAT. But right now, these NBA finals, it looked like a foregone conclusion.
It still is.
The Miami Heat popped the LA Lakers yesterday under Jimmy Butler's 40-point triple-double, without Bam Adebayo, without Goran Dragic, just Jimmy. Tyler Hero's playing like hot garbage for the first 40 minutes. AD in foul trouble, wasn't aggressive. LeBron, like at least, 7, 8 turnovers. So, bad game by the Lakers. Are you worried about the Lakers?
Absolutely. Sorry about my yelling children. Hold on. Let me just mute the phone.
So, yeah.
No. Corey said, I think he's like KD Drake. No, he doesn't. No, I'm not worried about the Lakers. Okay, listen. I think the only thing that, again, here's my knee jerk, right? Kobe loves it when I say that. You cannot worry about the Lakers when this was bound to happen because they have bad moments. Like, they have bad moments. This is not – what we saw yesterday is not unfamiliar to us. When they lose games, it's usually for one or if not all of these reasons. They turn the ball over, they don't shoot well, and they have no offensive continuity. Like they look indecisive on what they want to do with the basketball when they come down the floor. And then they come out the next night and then they decide, okay, y'all want to talk that talk and say that AD this or LeBron this or whatever. Okay, then we're going to do what we do and show you who we are. So every series they've had these moments, especially in that Denver series. You talked about AD, and you even said it. We watching the game. AD doesn't have back-to-back games consistently anyway. He always has a little boo-boo game after he has his big dominant game. So no, there's nothing to worry about because I'm not seeing Jimmy Butler give you another triple-double with 40 points attached to it again. He came out, he did it. They got that game, but now it's adjustment time. So now the Lakers will go ahead and adjust. And I still think the Lakers are going to win this series in 6 games. I just had my crystal ball prediction backwards. I said that the Heat would be up 2-1 coming into tonight because I thought they were going to stay healthy, and I thought that the Lakers would have a couple of letdown games. But no, after seeing what the Lakers did the first 2 games, this was the proverbial game 3. The Heat come back, they get the game 3 dub. I'm not at all thinking that this is going to be competitive unless we're talking about a game 7 come next week.
Yeah, listen. Miami is an interesting case because how they just won with just Jimmy Butler is kind of a thing. And if they get Bam back, now you're adding that to the mix. So it does look a little different to me. I don't know. Like
it makes it a story. It makes it fun to talk about.
It does. I'm still picking the Lakers because I don't want to be that guy. But like, if the formula is get AD in foul trouble, that's one thing. But LeBron played bad too. Like I mean, like you said, it's only kind of a once in a lifetime thing. We get both guys that played bad. AD played bad and Bron played bad, and then the others didn't show up either. Kyle Kuzma's hot trash. Like I would package Kyle Kuzma for whatever they can do for some extra players because their lack of shooting is hurting them. Their best shooter is Alex Caruso. Like let's be straight. You paid Danny Green $10 million a year to come shoot the ball and defend the ball, but he's horrible. They had to sub him out to put in J.R. Smith yesterday. Yeah. Like you're grasping at straws when you're giving J.R. Smith extra minutes. With his, I'm gonna run to the corner and jack up a 3 at the end of the half. So
right.
So, like Akil said, Miami women does give them confidence. Them getting Bam back will give them confidence too. But it's just something about LeBron and AD that you don't really want to go against. Like, are they not only is it from one side, is Jimmy really going to have another 40-point triple-double, but it's really AD and LeBron going to have a bad game together at the same time is probably the other side of that. And I would say no to both of those things.
Yeah, I think that you're more than likely going to have a LeBron AD game, whether it be they both go off for 30 and something. Before you'll have another one of those Jimmy games. And even with Bam coming back, if and when, to me it doesn't change it that much because he's still not it's not like he's a matchup nightmare for AD. I think you could look at a couple of those fouls and question them yesterday. If we're in somebody's home arena, then it probably stands out. Remember, I'm on record for saying the NBA is notorious for giving Game 3 to the team that's down 2-0. I mean, typically someone gets in foul trouble in Game 3 that's a big name for that team that's up. And sometimes you got to overcome adversity, and that team ends up winning anyway. But the league loves to make things interesting. So let's not think that they don't know how to do it in the bubble. Right. So, the Scott Foster Game 3 was, like you pointed out, was in effect. And so they have their ways. But at the end of the day, I think you also had a little human nature yesterday. Lakers dominate first 2 games. They dominate with a full roster of Miami Heat outside of people like going down as that Game 2 played on. I think human nature, yesterday was a letdown game. You also come into this game maybe hearing all the talk that the Heat are finished because they don't have Bam and they don't have Goran. So you come out and you lower your intensity level a little bit. Yeah, you can argue they shouldn't do that. They're champions, LeBron this, LeBron. Okay, whatever. But at the end of the day, that human nature might have played into it as well. I just don't. You don't see them. I can't see the Miami Heat winning 3 more times in this series. I still got Lakers in 6. I wouldn't be surprised if it was over in 5.
Yeah, I just don't want to be disrespectful to Miami because they are a good basketball team. They play. Ron said it. They kind of play like the Warriors. The way they cut, the way they move it up the ball.
Right.
You can definitely tell the offensive philosophy from one side to the other is pretty much LeBron AD pick and roll versus constant off the ball movement.
Right.
One team looks like they're playing basketball, another team is just looking like they're just trying to find an open shot. So you definitely see that. But I agree with you. Bringing Bam back does help Miami, but it also hurts them because then you add Dwight Howard back in LA's rotation, which helps them tremendously. You
Because
ain't
they
got to
can
worry
play their
about
natural way, yes.
Yeah, you ain't got to worry about trying to find a J.R. Smith, Danny Green extra shooter because you got a guy in Dwight Howard that's going to take a guy off of their team that does that from them out of their rotation. So that takes a Iguodala or a Crowder off because Bam's playing more minutes. So Bam works well for them, and it also works bad against them because I believe they play better with Dwight on the floor.
Gotcha.
All right, so we're unwavering. We're still saying LA wins. I think we all said in 6. Akil said 6. I think most everybody said LA in 6 or 5 or something to that nature. Just never pick with Charles Barkley because he's always wrong. Yeah, I think they're going to sweep them. A few moments later. All right, and then let's get into the NFL, man. Like you said, COVID has stricken some games. Tennessee and Pittsburgh game got postponed due to a lot of COVID outbreak in the Tennessee sidelines. I think, as you reported, they're trying to get that under wraps.
Yeah, word on the street is Tennessee should be opening up their facility as early as Wednesday, which puts them on schedule to play this coming Sunday. The total number of positive tests was 20. 10 players and 10 personnel. They are now under investigation for possibly not living the proper way in the protocols. The NFL doesn't think that the protocols failed. They think that there were some people who were not doing what they were supposed to be doing.
Yeah, one outlier. Yeah, most definitely. Everybody else can get through it, but y'all out here wilding in Nashville.
Yeah. And also, first fines were handed out to the Oakland Raiders. I'm sorry, to the Las Vegas Raiders, excuse me, for Darren Waller's charity event, where many Raiders teammates were at this event supporting his charity event, and none of them had on masks. And an update from Arrowhead: 6-3 halftime. Going into halftime. No, it is halftime. 6-3. Both teams are probably a little off their natural position right now. Maybe just off kilter. These guys are creatures of habit. 6-3. Monday Night Football started at 7 o'clock Eastern time, and the Patriots are staying with the Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Without Cam.
All
right. How's your team update quickly?
Cleveland! This is for you! 3-1, baby. 3-1, and I believe this is a real 3-1. So far, the schedule has gone as planned. I knew we were going to get killed by the Ravens in game week 1, which we did. I knew we needed to take advantage of our weaker schedule because of our poor showing last year, which we are. However, I was nervous about this Dallas game because it's on the road and because the Dallas offense has been playing at a very high level, and they got people all over the place. I just didn't like the feel of going down there and getting a win. They shocked me. They shocked me so much that I was nervous up until the end of the game. A buddy of mine, James, you see him in the chat a lot, he sent me a text and said, it was a tweet, image of a tweet that says, every Cleveland Browns fan in America is nervous right now. And that was when we were up, I believe it was 41-14. I was still scared, saying, listen, there's still the third and the fourth quarter, and we're from Cleveland. So At the end of the day, over 300 yards rushing. opportunistic plays for the defense, turnovers, win the turnover battle. OBJ getting involved, gotta love it. Gotta love the
Damn,
attitude.
OBJ.
Gotta love the mindset of OBJ, and you gotta call out the coaching. Kevin Stefanski, play calling, seeing the art of the play calling, understanding the strength of your team, using that strength of your team to then catapult your team into successful situations. That's called putting your players in position to be successful. So what he did with that play calling, bring on Tennessee, baby. Bring on Indianapolis.
Now, do you hope he stays with that play calling with Hunt now that Chubb is done?
Yes, since Chubb only put up 43 yards yesterday, do 307 minus 43, and the other 200 and something belong to Kareem and D'Ernest Winston or whatever, D'Ernest Johnson. I shouldn't even know his name, so you can't knock me for not knowing it, because he was like fly fishing, as the commentators pointed out numerous times yesterday during the game, just recently off the side of a boat somewhere. So, I think you have to be this way. I think this is the identity. We talk about identity for teams in football all the time, and I think Stefanski has made it clear our identity is to run the football, and it comes off of play action. And no matter how much you try to game plan for that, and I'm sure they haven't shown everything, it's really hard to get defenses out of tendencies. Linebackers love to come up and stop the run. They love to take a step forward. Cornerbacks and safeties love to peek in the backfield, and that's when you can get guys, not like your average receivers out on the edges doing things with play action, but you got Jarvis, and you got OBJ, and you got Hooper in the seam at the tight end position, and you got the young fella other side playing tight end, the rookie playing well, Kareem Hunt out the backfield. Let's not forget this was a leading rusher a few years ago with the Chiefs. He led the league. All right, so we're loaded. Now let me temper myself.
Feels good, don't it?
Let me temper myself.
Damn it, we're loaded.
Woo!
Your quarterback is still Baker Mayfield.
And he's playing within himself. Keep moving him off that launch point. That's a new term in the NFL now. Keep moving his launch point. Keep rolling him out. Keep putting him in position to be successful. It's Stefanski we trust. It's Stefanski we trust. Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. Ooh, ooh. Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. Ooh, ooh. How those Lions doing? I was supposed to change during the show. You can still hear me, but you can't see me. It's okay.
How are the Lions doing? How are the Lions doing? Can you put something on the screen for me? You want to know how the Lions are doing? That's how the Lions are doing right there. If you're listening right now via podcast land, I want you to cut the podcast off.
Don't do that.
Mark the time. Mark the time.
Now.
Mark the time at 1 hour 28 minutes.
This is what y'all came for.
Go to YouTube. Look us up.
Oh yeah.
Scroll it down to 1 hour and 28 minutes so you can see what's on my screen. A hot ass trash dumpster fire that is the Detroit Lions. That's who we are. But you know what? They doing what I asked them to do. Lose every game. Lose every game. Because that way we can get a good draft pick. That way we can get Sunshine. That way we can get my man from Clemson. That's why we need Trevor Lawrence. Get rid of Matthew Stafford. Get a generational talent at quarterback. And fire the coach. Gut everybody and start anew. Lose every game.
So you can get Justin Fields.
Low-key, I'll take that too. But I want Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, you already messed that up because you won a game.
Listen, hopefully the Jets don't take a quarterback. Let's hope the Jets mess this up. Okay? Because they ain't winning no games. If you lose to the Jets, you a bad football team.
I hope I doesn't come back to bite me. Because I think we played them this year. I don't want to lose to the Jets.
No, but every time I do fantasy, I'm like, who playing the Jets?
Who playing the Jets? Yep. Yep, this is a great meme. They showed this on Sports Center last night on the late Sports Center with Scott Van Pelt, but he used it for the whole NFC East.
Garbage, bro. Straight garbage. At least all of them got one win.
No,
At
some
least
of
they,
them don't have any win.
huh?
No, not everybody in the NFC East has a win.
Who don't got to win? The Giants? Did the Giants?
The Giants don't have a win yet, do they?
I don't know. I thought they was all 1-3-0 or something like that, except for
No,
the Eagles.
I think that the Eagles and the Cowboys are the only people who have a win.
No, Washington won. They
won
Washington
week 1. Got a win yesterday. That's right. The NFC East, the Giants are 0-4. The Cowboys are 1-3. The Washington football team are 1-3, and Philadelphia is 1-2-1. They're winning the division now with a .375 winning percentage.
I think the Giants will get somebody. Maybe they'll get Washington. I'm not worried about the Giants. I'm worried about the Jets. Okay, that's the only people in my way from getting the number 1 draft pick.
You might have to worry about the Houston Texans now.
Nah, Deshaun Watson good enough to win a game on his own.
What about the Atlanta Falcons?
You would hope. You would hope that they were talented enough to win one game.
Listen, man, I need like 50 points from Aaron Jones and Mason.
Listen, when you said that score, I'm like, come on, like, jeez, OBJ destroyed me this week. Golly.
Oh man, yep. Still halftime, 6-3. All right.
Transition over to the crystal ball. I got nothing. I'm gonna be honest with you, so I'm gonna make something up while you talk.
Nothing for a crystal ball?
Yeah, I didn't really think about it.
Gotcha. All right, crystal ball predictions. So I thought about two things. So you have what's going on right now. You have the NFL kind of coming up to the quarter pole of their season, into week 4. You hear a lot of talk about how there's 4 quarters to the season. They split the season up in 4 games, but then you have the NBA Finals going on, and you have the Lakers in this position of dominance over what looks like it's going to be over with here in a couple of days. So you kind of look forward and you think about, okay, what could the crystal ball prediction be coming in the next week when we get back on the air live? I'm thinking I think if the Lakers win this, I think the whole like pizzazz of them winning might be a little petered out by next Monday. So I'm not going to go crystal ball NBA. I'm going to go crystal ball NFL. And this is an easy one, but I think it's worth noting. The question now becomes, who's the next team to catch COVID? Will the NFL be able to survive? And I hate these like doomsday questions because they always feel really over the top. But the Titans really have a situation or had a situation here where things blew up. And then you had this sprinkle of COVID around the league with the practice squad QB for Kansas City and with Cam and New England and all this contact tracing that had to take place. So will they be able to get to another weekend of negative testing and be able to have a clean schedule going into next Monday where we only have one Monday night game? So that's my crystal ball.
Okay. Let's see. My crystal ball is that the Seattle Storm are going to win the WNBA championship.
They're already up 2-0. You could have went with there's no crystal ball prediction from Dre this week.
Listen.
I could have transitioned into like the tags.
They can do it. They got the league MVP on their team. I'm going with Breanna Stewart and the Seattle Storm. That's who I'm going.
They only need one more win in a best-of-5 series.
Let's go Storm.
How about give them 7 games and stop shortening up the women's league with the crap? They give them the scraps, and I think that sucks.
It is. I mean, but I don't want to butt that. It is.
Yeah. I mean, we know. Like, never mind. Let's not. I don't want to do that. All right. Well, we're at 1 hour and 35 minutes. We've done our crystal ball predictions. You can follow us live on YouTube every Monday night. We are here right around the 7 o'clock hour. You can find us if you click the bell in the YouTube page, or if you click the like or the reminder on Facebook. Then you'll always know when we go on live, because we always post an alert, and then we show up on your screens. Magically, we appear and we just start talking. So if you ever want to join us, please feel free to do so. But if you ever want to follow us on air, you can follow us on IG at Dre_on_air, or you can follow us or follow me on IG at JWill02. Also, check us out on YouTube at Academy Sports Show. Look us up on the iTunes app at Academy Sports Show, Academy Sports Podcast. You see the logo in the top corner of your screen. You can always find us on iTunes, as well as you can find us on SoundCloud. If you do not have an iPhone, like many of the people do in this world, then you can find us on SoundCloud. But as always, like I said, if you're in podcast land, listen to us. We appreciate you. Appreciate you liking. We appreciate you sharing. And big shout out to everybody tonight. We always appreciate y'all joining us in our chat. Y'all really came strong tonight and came with the Go Talk. Y'all asked for it. We tried to deliver. And because of that, we hope that you guys appreciated that, and that you will keep sharing and letting people know. And big shout out to Akil and to Stu, who came on the live show tonight. We appreciate you as always. If you guys are ever interested in getting with us or anything like that, all you got to do is hit us up. Dre, tell them where they can find us.
Hit us up, Academy Sports Show at gmail.com. That's the email. You hit us up, man. Let us know what's on your mind, topics that you would like us to tackle, or if you want to be on the show, you got something to promote, you want to be a sponsor, yada, 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 all that good stuff. That's the best way to hit both of us at the same time. Check that email. We'll get back to you very quickly. Or like Joe said, individually, you can DM us. You see the links up top. Or you can hit the comment section on the Academy Sports Show at youtube.com. So, we love our sponsors here at Academy Sports Show. The sponsor for today, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Mike Vance Plumbing. Vance Plumbing, both licensed and insured, provides top quality services at great prices, whether it's just getting up the cold, waterproofing, or daily home services. Call the man.
313-304-7786.
VancePlumbing.com. Gives you a map of all the areas that they service, as well as the services that they provide. But we suggest you call the man.
313-304-7786.
That man right there is the real MVP. Yes, sure. And I'm still repping my home team. Go ahead, follow me on YouTube, man. We still doing the Visa gift card. Got some great videos. Got some great content going up. About to do a game show. I'm doing some game show format coming up. So I'm looking for contestants who want a minimal cash prize and exposure. minimal, as well as the IG page, man. Go search as Black Pillars Media Group, man, and hit the like, support your own black business. I appreciate you, brother, man. Great show today.
Man, great show, man. Update from Kansas City. First and 10, Kansas City 11, 6-3, still early in the third quarter. Go watch some football and pray for my fantasy team.
Shout out to everybody. I know Joel already said it, man. Akil, Stu. Appreciate you guys coming in on live feed. D, Corey, Kobe, Jared. Great comments from Jared, Corey. Great comments. Akil, Leonardo, everybody,
James,
man. James, Tony, cuz I appreciate you, man.
Produced by PD.
Oh yeah. Produced by. We appreciate you, man. Thank you. Thank you, everybody that was in it. Whatever format that you're watching the show live, it pulls all the comments in so we see them all at the same time. So the best thing to do to make the show grow is to share. If you're watching on Facebook, share it to your feed. If you're watching on YouTube, share it to your Facebook, or share it to your Twitter, or share it to that group that you're in that talks about sports and that crazy guy that always be saying the wrong stuff. Share, because we want the crazy guy on our show, so we can put him on blast as well.
You can blast him, yeah. Coach Nick B in the building. I see you out there, brother.
So thank you guys so much for all the love and support, and we got more fire to come in the weeks to come.
All right, fellas. We out, man.
Yes, sir.
Enjoy your evening.